Alright, everyone, so we're going to talk about some decent news that I found out earlier today, and that is apparently the second round of budget cuts the mayor was proposing in January. Apparently, Eric Adams is withdrawing it, and it's only going to be 10%. So now he's only cutting 5% now, and then he's proposing another 5% in April. So it looks like those cuts in January are not going to be, I guess, required, as he calls it. So let's read this article from the New York Post that came out earlier this morning. So, here we go. I want to see what it mentions about the police, because I'm not too happy with the Parks Department. And we got to talk about that. And that's why I'm going to title this video, police, fire, sanitation spared from one round, Parks Department issue. I don't know what I'm going to title this video, but I'll figure it out on the fly. Okay, so we know the mayor last week made an announcement to balance the budget, the $7.1 billion gap for next year, right? But apparently, he has spared the NYPD, FDNY, and DSNY from their spending. The three departments will be exempt from a January plan directing city agencies to trim spending by another 5% to reportedly counteract the increasingly costly migrant crisis, according to the memo sent out by the mayor's Office of Management and Budget to all agency leaders yesterday. In a memo obtained by the New York Post, the NYPD, FDNY, and DSNY are exempted from the January PEG program, which stands for Program to Eliminate the Gap, out of concern that additional budget cuts at this time could impact public safety, health, and cleanliness, said City Budget Director Chak Hinya. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce this name, but you're going to have to bear with me. The mayor was slammed last week after announcing a new updated 2024 financial plan that would see the NYPD's force slashed to 29,000 cops by the end of fiscal year 2025, which would be the lowest body count in 30 years. The number of firefighters would also take a dip, as those who are out of duty due to an injury or illness will be forced into retirement. Oh, so look at that. I mean, he's still not retracting that. Let's continue reading. The police budget of $5.6 billion would be cut by $132 million. The fire department budget would be slashed by $74 million. Sanitation will lose $32 million. So I'm still worried that I'm only going to have 1 day a week garbage pickup. There's still no answer on that. The severe slashes were opposed by His Honor amid a September order to reduce city spending by 5% across all city agencies. Many New Yorkers concerned about safety bashed His Honor for the cuts. Council members, police union leaders, teachers, and even Bronx-born rapper Cardi B complained about the reductions. So there was a protest at City Hall on Friday, so, So this is the end of the article coming up. Let's see what else it says right here. So let's quickly read through this. Okay. The current fiscal year, which began in July and ends on June 30th of next year, the city's spending down the line remains a problem to be solved, including for the next financial year, or the fiscal year. Yes, okay. According to Hinya, 2 months before the city must release the fiscal year 25 budget, and close to an unprecedented gap of $7.1 billion, facing the substantial funding uncertainties. So, still, I don't know what other 5% they're mentioning, but, as I said, I'm still worried. The mayor is basically keeping hush-hush if we're only going to have trash pickup 1 day a week, because I'm telling you, that's what this is going to lead to. I'm still worried about that. I mean, we cannot have garbage pickup only once a week. Alright, so we're going to talk about the libraries in just a second to end this video. But, that's excellent news. I mean, it looks like there's going to be some extra cops coming in, some extra firefighters, but as far as Department of Sanitation, I mean, I'm worried that we may have less litter pickup as well besides this. So the next article we're going to talk about here is this in the city. Parks Jobs Corps to end under the Adam budget cuts. For decades, the Parks Opportunity Program connected striving workers with employment. It is being eliminated to help fill a $7 billion budget hole. So let's read this. So, look at this. Look at this. The mayor's basically screwing over the immigrants that he's trying to help. Right? So, basically, the mayor's basically threatening to cut this program here, the Parks Job Corps. Basically, now the parks are going to get dirtier. Alright? I'm very worried about that because, thankfully I saw somebody cleaning the bathroom at Washington Square Park earlier today, but, the fact that I'm very worried the parks are going to get dirtier. I'm very worried. Look at this. This program was eliminated. The cuts will save the city $88 million through fiscal year 2027. Wow. I mean, and keep this in mind, this program was actually launched when David Dinkins was still mayor. So David Dinkins kind of does deserve credit for this program. Because that was one of his last acts before he left when Rudy Giuliani came in. So, in a way, you got to thank David Dinkins for this program, but, I am not happy right now. I mean, now that means the parks are going to get dirtier, and, there might be less cleanup at the parks now because of this. So the mayor doesn't even care about the environment. I mean, I don't even want to imagine, is Central Park going to lose its funding in the Conservancy? Because I'm worried that's going to be next too. You don't think that will be on the chopping block, that the mayor's going to cut their funding too? You don't think the mayor is going to cut also the funding to the Bryant Park Conservancy? Because the Bryant Park Conservancy gets a small contribution from New York City. I mean, it's bad, folks. And then lastly, look at this. So now that the libraries are also facing the cuts, certain libraries are not going to be open on Sundays, including, you guessed it, the main branch of the New York Public Library at Bryant Park. So let's read this. So it says here that Brooklyn Public Library, the New York Public Library, and the Queens Public Library shared the news last week. They will be slashing municipal services across the board for the libraries. This is bad. This is bad. Here we go. So, the last day for the New York Public Library to offer Sunday service for all the branches that they have in Manhattan, the Bronx, and Staten Island will end on November 26th. Now, as far as the Brooklyn Public Library, last day of Sunday service will be December 17th, but there's a catch in Queens. So not all libraries in Queens are going to be closed. You'll still have Fresh Meadows, which is the only library we have right now, because we don't know when Hillcrest is going to reopen, because they're still doing work over there, but... Yep. Flushing and the Central Library in Jamaica are going to be closed on Sundays. Which, it's just disgusting. It really, really is, alright? So I'll show you on the Queen's website in just a second. So this gets worse from what I'm reading, so... Here's what they posted last week on Thursday. So I'm going to read this right here. To our customers, as you may know, New York City announced a revised budget for the current fiscal year that unfortunately includes a 5% cut to public libraries as well as a reduction to the budgets of all city agencies and departments. Due to the significant loss of funding, the library has made an extremely difficult decision to close our Central Library in Jamaica and our Flushing Library on Sundays, decrease spending on our digital and print materials, and delaying needed maintenance and repairs in our building. The final day of Sunday service at Central Library in Jamaica and the Flushing Library will be this Sunday, November 26th. Please note that the 24-hour automatic return machines will remain in operation at both locations. We know how much you rely on us and how disappointing this news is, and we remain as committed as ever to provide the best service possible despite the challenges we face. Thank you for your support. Dennis Walcott, Queens Public Library. So, I mean, really, Dennis? You couldn't put your name on this statement? Unbelievable. Does he still run Queens Public Library? Let's see. Here's leadership. I'm pretty sure Dennis Walcott still runs the public library system. Yeah, there he is. See, Dennis, why couldn't you put your name on this? Yeah, and I know Dennis Walcott very well, folks. He used to be the school's chancellor. In fact, he was Mike Bloomberg's last school chancellor. So that's how well I remember him. And then once Bloomberg left, de Blasio appointed him the director of Queens Public Library. So that's how long Dennis Walcott's been running the library system. But yeah, I mean, Dennis Walcott's really inactive on this situation, folks. I mean, I'm very disappointed in him. And he cares a lot about the Central Library location in Jamaica. I mean, yes, I've been to both locations, and they're top of the art. Jamaica has a good location, and so does Flushing. So I can't believe these big libraries are not going to be open anymore. Now, here's the thing in Delmarva, and I'll mention this. Now, I know by heart, Worcester County Public Libraries, they do not open on Sundays. I'm pretty sure they don't. So, yeah, that's the thing. The North Ocean City Library is not open on Sunday. But if you want to look at a library in Maryland that I know pretty well, thankfully, I'm very grateful in Salisbury that Mayor Day has not cut funding to libraries in Wycomico County. So if Mayor Day is somehow watching this video, I want to thank him for that. And I understand why the censor branch at Salisbury Mall is not open on Sundays, because it really doesn't make any sense. Why would you open that location on Sundays if, you know, the Sarbanes Library needs to be open on Sundays? So, yeah. So, I mean, it could be a lot worse. As I said, I know in Delmarva, if you go to a Worcester County Library, they're not open on Sundays. So here's the Ocean City one close to my condo. That's not open. Alright, let's take a look at Berlin, which would be the second closest library I have. Nope, not even open on Sundays either. Let's take a look at Ocean Pines. Nope, closed too. So that's closed on Sundays. Take a look at Pocomoke, and then we'll look at the main branch in Snow Hill. Because remember, Snow Hill's the county seat. Alright, so Pocomoke's also closed. And then what about Snow Hill? I know they're closed too, but I'll double check. Yep. So Snow Hill is also closed on Sundays too. So, yeah. You know, that's pretty much it, folks. I mean, this is what we have to deal with. Mayor Swagman, you know, I'm glad that he's, you know, retracting something about this, you know. So to wrap up this video, because I made it way too long, I'll just say this. The governor yesterday said that she's not even thinking about raising taxes, which, okay, I understand that. You know, the last thing anybody wants to hear right now, especially in the suburbs, and that's certainly not going to make my Long Island friends certainly happy when I say this, but, you know, they're at least somewhat grateful that Hochul is, you know, not going to raising taxes. But, you know, I'm very curious what the governor's going to propose in January when her budget comes out, because it's certainly going to be interesting, to say the least. So, That's all I'm going to say for this video. I mean, I'm glad that maybe there's a chance that 2-day-a-week garbage pickup might still get saved. I hope so. Because that's the last thing I want to see cut right now. I mean, there's a real chance it still could happen. I hope not, but, you know, the federal government in Albany doesn't help us. I mean, we're in really big trouble, guys. And, again, the governor's not raising taxes. And, you know, I understand why she doesn't want to, because then, you know, people are going to get more upset at her and this and that. But, you know, we're really facing what the mayor says, a crisis right now. And, you know, with the migrants, you know, it's really bad here, guys. So that's all I'm going to say for now. I mean, it's still doom and gloom, but we'll see. And believe me, I'll have to do another rebuttal video once things come to light with the governor's budget in January. So that's pretty much it.